My name is Bruce Rogers. I'm Business Development Manager for SDM Housing Software. I'm a technical guy by background, programmer, and I've been involved with housing since the late 80s, since we tried to install an accounting system and run a housing association from an accounting system, which is obviously very, very difficult if you've ever tried to do it. It's the 1980s I'm talking about too, not the 1880s. I've been with SDM since 2010 and they commenced operation in Australia in 2010. My plan is to cover those general bullet points there and reference them to the checklist. SDM is a UK company. The products come from the UK. They've been in business for more than 40 years, had their 40th anniversary last year. And they've been doing nothing but housing software for about 25 years. We've only got one product, SDM Housing Software, creative name, and everybody's a not-for-profit customer. All of our customers are not-for-profits and they're all community housing, social housing organisations. In Australia we've got customers in ACT, New South Wales, Queensland and Victoria. In the UK about 200 sites and in Australia about 20. So every day about 3,000 people or so log into SDM and manage their housing association. Our system is modular and it's probably the point of difference, say for example with Shintaro. It gives us the ability to accurately fit a really small organisation or also do a good job at a really large organisation. We've got sites that have got 2 or 3 people and 60 properties, and we've got sites that have got 3,000 or 4,000 properties and 50 staff in Australia I'm talking about. So the modular nature and the way we license it allows you to fit nicely with small and large organisations. The concurrent user licensing thing, and I'll talk a bit more about that when we get down to prices, simply means that you only need to buy a license for the modules you want. If you've got 2 people that need to get into rents and housing concurrently, then you've got to buy 2 of those, but you can install it on 50 machines and anyone can log in on those machines, and when the 3rd person tries to log into rents and housing, for example, they'll get a message saying you've exceeded your license account. This kind of thing's probably not going to be much of an issue for little organisations, and I'll talk about that specifically later on. Whilst being modular, it is also completely integrated. Everything talks to everything else. There's only one database, and anything that generates a financial transaction flows through to our general ledger. Now, we can also support an external accounting system if you want, and a lot of customers prefer it that way because they don't need to learn, they don't need to let go of MYOB or their favourite accounting system. We can do it both ways. The system gives you an end-to-end solution that has, and certainly we've been here for 8 years and tipped a ton of money on developing specific things for Australia. So we've got something that really is purpose-built for, firstly New South Wales and a wider audience of Australia. When we first arrived, my background was I have written a couple of housing software packages and I had customers using my software. The problem I faced at the time was that no one wants a 2-man band holding up their core business piece of software, and it was difficult to sell it. It was becoming more and more difficult to sell it, and SDM approached me and one thing led to another, so here we are now. The software that they brought to Australia really wasn't ready to go out of the box. And so we've spent a ton of time enhancing it to fit Australia. In the UK they don't do income-based rents, for example, they only do fixed rents. They don't have Centrelink to read income information in from and all that sort of stuff. So a ton of customisation. It really is a purpose-built thing for Australia now. Spend a little bit of time talking about some of these modules. For a small organisation, quite frankly, if what you're looking to do is automate and get things off spreadsheets, rents and housing does everything. It's your tenants, your properties, your arrears management, your interaction with Centrelink, diary notes, letters, reports, form letters and that sort of thing. And when I say arrears, I mean also rent and non-rent. All of that takes place in rents and housing, and you really only need to buy that module. If you want to do repairs as well, and if you're only managing 20 or 30 properties, maybe you don't need something to do repair orders. Maybe Excel will work. But repairs and maintenance, again, is the next thing you're probably interested in, and that gives you everything to do with works orders. And when you raise works orders, or when you do anything with rents and housing, billing the rent and all that sort of stuff, you've got immediate access so that you can see clearly where you've spent the money, what people owe you, how much rent you might bill over a period of time. And one of the things that's probably one of SDM's real assets is the fact that you can get reports out of it in so many different ways. It's got a million standard, I'm lying, it's not a million, but it's a big number, hundreds of standard reports that will give you all sorts of stuff. But you can also do customised exports, user configurable customised exports that you can pass out to Excel. The system also comes with a pile of what are effectively Excel-based reports that are based on queries that we've written, and you just run them from a menu. And we use that to deliver dashboards and some of the more complicated reports, like the New South Wales quarterly return faxes report, and I'll talk about that too, because that's one of the things, or the AHA report is very similar to that. We have all those other things, other modules. Also, the module costs for very small organisations with less than 100 properties is not a lot, so the upfront cost of getting it all going is quite manageable. If you're doing rent reviews, we have a purpose-built rent calculator and an end-to-end rent review system for generating the letters, importing the information from Centrelink or manually collecting it and doing the calculations and passing the letters out, and also applying the rent changes. That's all in that rent review system, which is a module. We've got a complaints register and a bunch of other things. Financially, as I said, we've got all the bits and pieces you need to run the finances without an external accounting system, but if you would like to keep your external accounting system, you can. And that's something that a lot of, as I said, a lot of customers, a lot of angst over letting go of MYOB. We have an SMS system, which basically lets you do mail merges to SMS messages, and some statistics from the UK in the order of 70 or 80% of an improvement when you send a text message to a tenant over sending them a letter, because for some reason they're very easy to drop a letter in the bin, but it's very compelling to read that text message you got. So our messaging system will also do two-way conversations, so that you can ask them a question. Your arrears balance is this. Would you like to make a payment? Or yes or no. If they answer yes, it'll respond automatically. If they answer no, it will respond automatically with a different answer. And you can also set it up to have a two-way conversation, multi-level two-way conversation. Everything that goes out in the text message and everything that comes back, importantly, is automatically attached to diary notes within the system. So if you send Bruce Rogers a text message, you know against his diary note what you sent him, and you also record his reply automatically. It's a great tool. We have a document manager, which is integral with the diary system in SDM, and we've also got a tenant portal, which is more, it's a turnkey website. It's a lot more than a tenant portal, and again, it's possibly not something that you guys would be interested in, but anyway, I'm trying to fill the slide out to make it look really impressive, so I had to put that on there. Surprisingly, there are advantages going with SDM. Except some of these advantages are probably advantages you get from going with any system other than just Excel and bits of paper. First of all, you get security and you get some control over what's going on. If you really are doing this in Excel and perhaps your accounting system, it's really easy for someone to go in and change a rent and no one else have any clue why or how or who that happened. So obviously logging into SDM, it's security controlled, you set up users. It also gives you, we log data changes. If someone goes in and changes a phone number, it time stamps it and says the user was Bruce, it was 11:53, the original value was this, the value after the change was this, and you can report on that. And it's a very, not so much for sneaking around and seeing what people are doing, but it's a good way of figuring out, when something changed and why it changed. It also gives you an opportunity to force people to fill things in completely. If you must have their date of birth, or if you must have, the type of dog they've got, then you can make those fields mandatory so that the system won't save it until they fill that in. And that's just a general thing that applies across the system. The diary system in SDM is you can say it's diary notes, and at its simplest form it is, but it basically gives you a really powerful way of structuring, recording steps and events that take place in the system. So you can use it for anything from looking at arrears, or perhaps you've run some sort of tenant communication or tenant engagement activity where you've run a day to get people in and show them around. You can record who attended and so forth. Linked to the diary system, when you generate form letters out of the system, they can be set up so that they automatically attach to the diary. So if you send out, let's say, arrears notices, the action of printing them, they will automatically be attached to the diary as a PDF, and you can go back and review them. And because you can classify them as arrears notices, if you are going to take, say, tribunal action, you can just go to one particular diary category and print the whole lot and take it to tribunal. Very quick, very simple. Integration. Did I mention integration? It's really good too, because everything talks to each other. And mail nodes to SMM, I've said that. We have an inspection tool that runs on mobiles. That's part of the system. SDM. In Australia, we've got 5 staff. In the UK, there's about 32 or 33 staff. Everyone is kind of like a GP in that they know a little bit about everything. We have a full-time help desk guy who came to SDM as a help desk guy, and he used to work for a big corporate. He probably knows more about it than anyone else as a general sort of overview of things, because he spends all day dealing with customers' queries on all sorts of stuff. But Rick also has a whole lot of technical background, understands SQL, can tell the difference between your PC needs a reboot or your keyboard's broken, or an actual fault or issue or something going on that's strange with SDM. We've got a finance expert. One of the people that works for us has a degree in finance hocus pocus, and if you ever want your finance system to work properly, I quite frankly can't see you can do it unless you've got an in-house finance genius. All business programs, the goalposts move all the time, particularly what you guys are unfortunately dancing to the tune of governments, and they're pretty good at moving the goalposts around. So SDM is continuously developed, and we get the feedback on where that development goes from our customers, and we get that from the help desk. Every help desk call is logged, goes into our call logging system. And we also get feedback from the customer forum. As Jen said, you get together with the customers and they can yell at you, or we have 3-hour lunches though. Ours is, it's not, perhaps a 2-hour lunch, but yes, we do lunch. And it's a really good way of getting everyone together. They get to network. Customers come along and are amazed that they have commonality in the similar sorts of difficulties. And this is, organisations coming from Victoria and Queensland, quite different sizes, so it's a really good thing getting people to network a little bit. Underlying database is Microsoft SQL Server. No one really cares, but it's a really cool thing. Probably its biggest feature is that it allows a whole lot of third-party tools to report against the database. Things like, Sean mentioned QlikView, but there's other things, business intelligence tools like Tableau, can read SQL, and obviously they're compatible with our system as well. but also to give you the ability to get data out directly into Excel and Word, which is a pretty useful, powerful thing. A little bit about implementation. Now, I know we've all been banging on about implementation, and you guys are probably only interested in actually doing stuff, but the scary thing is you've got to go through to change your system. There's a lot of, there's a bit of effort in getting it going. The implementation takes on a different sort of view depending on the size of the organisation. If you've got 3,000 properties and 50 employees, then you're going to have a completely different approach if you've got 2 employees and 30 properties. And the difference often just boils down to resources. So I will talk about both sizes when we talk about this. So we're going to look at the challenges, the kind of resources you need. We're not going to forget data migration. The number one problem, or the number one issue organisations have is managing this. Nobody wants to change. No one wants to let go of MYOB, like I said. When we implement a system, you go around trying to chase down all the spreadsheets that are being secretly recorded in drawers and all that sort of stuff. And no, I can't let go of my spreadsheet, it's my favourite. Well, that's something we can, that's an internal problem. It mightn't be such a big deal for little organisations because you really want this to go and there's only 2 or 3 of you and you have a bit of a chat, and I suppose there's boards and that, but anyway, change is the biggest, I think it's the biggest problem you'll face. In our experience, organisations struggle to resource doing an implementation, doing a change. The large organisations, it's not a problem. We'll have someone from finance, someone from housing, someone from assets, and they'll go onto the project full time and we'll backfill their position, and wow, imagine doing that. But if you've got 1 or 2 or 3 workers, no one's got the time to even spend a couple of hours a week on a project like this. So it can't, it has to be compact. Large organisations, and the kind of organisations that Roger Jamieson, who's done this checklist, is involved with project managing, they go for years, they go for 10 months or 12 months or longer. So little organisations, it's got to be quick. So that's going to lead me to this about configuration. For a big organisation, they'll do business requirements and they'll map out every little step, and they'll get the vendor to sit in workshops that'll go for 3, 5, 10 days just to map the business requirements to the software. No one here, I'm sure, can do that. That means, hi, I've got 6 minutes. Is it really just open the box and switch it on? Well, kind of. SDM's very configurable, and what we can do is we have a base configuration that's built around existing experience we've taken from existing New South Wales sites. So we can open the box, install it, half an hour and it's going with no data, configured to use in New South Wales. And from a business requirements point of view, we can say, right, well, here are the instructions, and this is how you commence a tenant, this is how you run a rent arrears letter. And as long as you guys can fit with doing it our way rather than doing it your way, you'll get it off the ground without spending a ton of time on implementation. Data, yeah, the data's got to migrate, and as Jen said, you can type it in, we can import it. Anything that burns up SDM days is going to cost you money. Unfortunately, we're a business too, and we have to charge. Training is probably the biggest thing, and you've got to have some face-to-face training. It doesn't need to be much. 3-4 days will get you rents and housing and repairs off the ground, and so it's not really a killer. Somewhere in here I'm going to mention price. I'm under a lot of pressure because I've only got 6 minutes, and now it's probably only 4 minutes. Oh my God. To save money by collaborating, which is one of the sort of themes in the brief that we were sent, it's possible. If we can do a couple of organisations in the same area, we can all sit in the same room and train you. That's one delivery of training spread across a couple of organisations. That'll work. Difficulties in getting people to agree on dates and all that sort of stuff. But using a standard configuration and using group training doesn't stop you taking advantage of the configuration or the configurability of SDM in the future, because if you do need to change something as you get the hang of it and you put your hand up and say, we'd like to do this, you can go in and tweak the system. There's only one SDM, it isn't a special sort of cut down version. I kind of covered that as well. I think there's a lot of savings to be gained if we can collaborate on the training and deliver it to a group rather than individuals. And, you know, very big, got to be classroom, got to be hands-on preferably. And as I said, a couple of days, 2, 3, 4 days, gets it all done. Reporting, lots of reporting. I've talked a little bit about it yet. This is supposedly, well, it's going to lead into this bit here, and this is essentially just, can we generate that spreadsheet? It's very similar to our existing fax report that it goes back to Department of Housing, and we can give you a one-click solution, literally a one-click solution. You give it the date range, click a button, and it's populated that spreadsheet just like that. Absolutely no problem. Costs. Oh no, the costs. Well, there's an upfront cost. There's a purchase price for the modules, which is based on the number of licenses that you need for each module. Training and implementation, their days, a day costs $14.50 a day. So if we're going to sit at your site and do 3 or 4 days training, we're looking at about whatever that is, 4 or 5 grand. Spread across however many people we can squeeze in the room. Our recurring fee, the annual fee, yes, there's a recurring fee, much to everyone's disappointment. The annual fee gets you, pays your license fee to legally use the software, access to the help desk, access to enhancements, and as I said, we roll those out a couple of times a year, and some of the user include activities like the customer forum. And we also have subject matter forums as well from time to time on possibly rent calculator or finance issues or voids or, you know, really thrilling subjects like that. The recurring annual fee for little guys would generally it's way less than $1,200, so we've had to set a limit, so it's going to cost you $1,200 a year. Value. Quickly, now I've run out of time now, oh no, yeah, that's, you can't stop me now, I've got the floor. Oh, well, I'm right then. Okay. Look, value isn't all related to price. It's you know, sometimes the most expensive thing isn't the best value, sometimes the cheapest thing isn't. It is all about the benefit you get against the money. And to quote a great man, you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know who said that, but it's Roger Jamieson, this project manager guy that was involved in producing the checklist. You don't know what questions to ask if you don't know what the system can do. If you've never done an implementation, before, you don't know what the traps are. It is, so that's a cautionary thing, but that's why you should be looking at this checklist and basically getting 3 quotes, looking around, that kind of thing. Keep your eye on it. There's a lot of value to be had from a system like this, particularly if you're doing it with spreadsheets or trying to get stuff out of your accounting system that it was never designed to do. I've said those words before. Oh look, that's the end. So there. Yeah, no, thank you, I'll go now. Any questions? I can show you the system inside next door. I've got it on here, so if you want to have a look.
Do you have online trials the same as Jen does with Gentaro?
I can't give you an online trial, but I can send you little videos and demos of it. No, we haven't got an online demo, no.
But we can get some of that.
We can certainly do a remote demo, like, you know, on very short notice to set it up and, you know, have a sort of chat about it. Yeah. We don't have just an autonomous thing you can log into.
And what is the one-off license that you recommend?
For people under 100 properties, it's $180 per user. So if you want, and that's the upfront cost. So if you want 2 users in rents and housing, it's 2 times $180. 1 in repairs and maintenance, and just add them up, and that's what you get.
How am I break for lunch?